Well, that makes it official. Welcome everyone to our first Calvinball Crop of 2025. We are kicking things off on day number one. When I saw that this was a Saturday, I'm like, we are going to do our first Calvinball Crop right on the first. That way, anybody that is new here has a chance to experience some of the excitement, some of that craziness, the unpredictable fun and excitement that comes with being part of this Calvinball challenge. And I thought that's the perfect way to kick things off for this month of, very fun, crafty creativity. It's not all just scrapbooking, so I'm going to say crafty creativity because we have crafters of all different kinds participating in the Calvinball challenge. Now, you might be wondering, what is this Calvinball stuff? Yes, we address this every year. So, first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Alice Bowl. I run the membership group at scraphappy.org. It is an online paid membership group for scrapbookers. We do 3 really big challenges every year, not including Calvinball. This is just a bonus. And we do our load challenges, the layout a day challenges every February, May, and October. So that is one of the things that I super love, and scrapbooking of all kinds and creativity of all kinds. So several years ago, I was asked when a wonderful community was closing if I wanted to carry the torch of the Calvinball challenge. And I'm like, well, yeah. And then, like, because I only knew a little bit about it, right? I only knew a little bit about it. I had looked and I'm like, wow, that's overwhelming. But I'm like, anything can be figured out, right? What is the thing that people say online? Everything is figure outable. That's what I was here for. So I started to try to figure out what Calvin Ball really was. And that was a journey. I asked expert people that participated in Calvin Ball regularly, and I got different versions of the rules. Are you guys all surprised by that? Merrick, she's like, no. Claire's like, no, not surprised at all. So there was a lot to figure out as we took it on. The first couple years we hosted on Facebook, that was more challenging. I tell you, we've got a much better setup now using our Circle community for sharing pages and projects and being able to have places for people to connect. It works a lot better. It's a little bit more forum, also a little bit more gallery. So really fun. We are going to be doing this Calvin Ball for the whole month of March. And basically, it is inspired by the Calvin and Hobbes comic strips. And Calvin and Hobbes is created by Bill Watterson, and he makes like the cutest little boy who's like a little bit of a terror for his family. But he has this lovely stuffed tiger that is only a stuffed tiger when he's around other people. But when Calvin is off on his own and is in his own imagination, this tiger is a walking, breathing, roaring tiger who kind of has a conscience. So it's very interesting because the two of them get up to all kinds of things. And when they play sports, Calvin is not, I won't say he's not good at sports. He doesn't know the rules. And so when he plays games that have rules and he doesn't know the rules, he gets very frustrated. Yeah, he's not really a rule follower, but also he doesn't really know them. He's a little kid. And so he makes up his own sports game with Hobbs, his tiger, his pet tiger, and they play Calvin Ball. And the only rule in Calvin Ball is that you can't play the game the same way twice. So that could have led to some of my confusion in trying to figure out this game, trying to figure out this challenge, because it's not always played the same way twice. But thankfully, over the years, we've kind of found enough of a framework that gives us a lot of flexibility to make this a really fun challenge. And and yes, there shall be avocados. Speaking of that, we do have a mascot for this now. I am wearing our mascot. It is called the Scrapacado on my shirt. And there are little things that you can get or you don't need to. It's all fun, all in the fun of it. There's our Scrapacado mascot with the little scissors, with a little ball pit, right? You know, that's kind of fun. Calvin ball, got a little ball pit. So kind of fun. Sue says, I named it. We had a contest and she named it. So, so much fun. So that is what Calvinball is all about, is having fun while kind of maybe pushing you outside of your normal boundaries of scrapbooking. It might challenge you to try something that is a little bit past your comfort zone. Lindsay says, what was I thinking? My mug is upstairs. I don't have my mug in front of me. I have other things. It's all good. But yes, we set the challenge up in a way that there are a few base rules. So when we're talking about rules, basically rules become ways to get points. So don't think of them like hard and fast rules that you must follow. These are not rules of the road. These are not rules set up by a teacher. You know, those ones you have to follow, but these ones are more like opportunities for scoring points. So that's how I want you to think about our rules. And we have them all set up in a simple place to find in our circle community. So once you sign up for Calvinball, you should have access to our circle community, which is where we'll share things. You can share them online too. It's all good. And you will you'll find your list of rules as the pinned post in the, oh, I always get it wrong here. Let me make sure I've got it right. In the gallery. So in the Calvinball gallery, you will find the top post is the rules post. And that allows us to make sure that we have all of the rules in one place that are easy to get to all the time. And Merrick says, you get a point for being here right now, so write it down. So fantastic. Rules is kind of a strong word, right? But I still like it because, you know, those are the rules of the game and they're gonna add a little bit of fun and spice to your life this month. Okay, so let's talk about some of these rules. I've got them pulled up. And I've also on the rule list, you're going to find like all the information. Everything kind of gets dumped into this one post. So if there's something that you're looking for and it's like, what is this thing? When are the crops? What is going on? It's probably in that post. It says read me right there at the top. Read me. Rules are opportunities. What a great quote. I think my husband has always known that saying. More like opportunities to break. um, but yes, when you're posting in the Calvinball gallery, if you start a new post, that is the best. Comments on the rule post are only for putting your suggestions for new rules. So in the comments on this post, we will have a lot of comments over the time, and it will all be suggestions of things that you would like the opportunity to score points on. So that's the great thing. We do have this crop obviously today, and we will have crop number 2. It is on a Monday, March the 17th. Wear your green that day. And it will be at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. But of course, that's marked on the rules list here. So there's a link to the scoreboard. The scoreboard aka like there's a leaderboard and there's a place for you to enter your points. You'll find that all pinned on the chat for Calvinball. So these two spaces in circle are kind of important to learn. So what I'm going to actually do right now is I'm going to bring them up so that you can actually have a quick look and see where they're at. You might see more things on my circle than you'll see on yours because I'm running the thing, because I'm running it, so I'll have access to more spaces. That's right, it'll be on St. Patrick's Day. Easy to remember, right? It is a midday crop, that one. Okay, so let's share my screen so you can have a quick peek at this with me, and then you'll know a little bit better where to find things. Okay, so you can see my moving cursor. You're on the right page. Can somebody give me a nod? Are you seeing this? Yes. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, so in Circle Community, there is lots of different spaces. These are all called spaces down the side here. Lots of different spaces. When we get to the area where the Calvinball stuff is, the Calvinball challenges, there are two. There's going to be two that are important to you this month. There is the Calvinball Gallery and there is the Calvinball chat spaces. They have a cute little tiger on them. Imagine that, a little tiger for Calvin and Hobbes. So here we have in the rules space, the 2025 rules. It is pinned to the top. If you're on a computer, you can also find easy access to past rules here. If you're not on a computer, there is a search. You can look for 2024 rules, 2023 rules to get an idea of where things may go. Yes, may being the operative word. You're going to find a lot of the FAQs. You're going to find things about the game. So the game is officially on. We started at 12:01 a.m. March the 1st, and we will run until 11:59 p.m. March the 31st, and we're calling this by Pacific time. I find that's a little bit easiest for many of our participants that are in North America. So we're just gonna run by that timing. Obviously, you're gonna play in your own time zone, but those are your deadlines. We'll all run in Pacific time. For the game, here are the basics. One layout is 1 point. If you make a double page layout, you've made 2 pages that will be 2 points. We try to make this easy. If you make a mini album page, and covers also count as pages, or a card, those are 1 point each. If you do art journal pages, they're a point. If you make decorated daily planner pages, they're a point. If you make photo book pages, they're a point. I think you're kind of getting a little feel for it. Non-paper craft projects. So this is like your sewing, quilting, crocheting, knitting. You're doing something that's not on this list, but it's a non-paper craft. An hour, 1 point per hour that you spend working on it. And if it's convenient, then you can take half points. Sorry, was there a question? Did I see a question? No? Okay. So then we have if you create a scrapbook process video or a layout share video, if you're doing all that extra YouTube stuff that you like to do for a YouTube channel that you might have, you get a point for that. You're sharing the fun of this. If you create a scrapbook tutorial, there's a point. If you write a blog post about a project you created, there's a point for that. Yeah, and if you're sharing online, if you want to let people know that the place to sign up for this free event is scraphappy.org. Like think of like an organization, scraphappy.org/Calvinball. Try to make it really easy. And that's where they can find the sign up link. And then tagging us on Instagram at scraphappy.org. That's a new Instagram that we have set up somewhat recently. So we're trying to get that going here. Calvinball publicity points. You get a point per project shared on each social media platform using hashtags Calvinball, Calvinball 2025, ScrapHappy. If you're sharing cards that are all the same design, you get to claim points for 1 card. So if you're doing different cards, you can claim them all for sharing them. But if it's a single design, that you can get 1 point for that. So that just kind of promotes creativity, right? Calvinball Circle Gallery. This is the Circle Gallery that we're looking in right now. And you'll get a point for sharing in there. It's our official place to post, and you don't have to post your things. Posting is completely optional and up to you. You can just make stuff. You can just make all your things, claim your points. It's all good. Instagram, other social media, please be sure to follow the rules of platforms that you post on. This counts for Facebook groups that you share in. Some places want outside projects, some are less keen on that. So whatever group that you're in, please be mindful of that. We have a question from Christina. So go ahead, Christina. Let's
Hey there. So it has been like ages since I have done anything with you all. I am not familiar with this circle thing. So is there like a tutorial somewhere or something? Because I'd hate to take up time for y'all to show me how to participate since I
well,
haven't been here in years.
yeah, I'll pretty much show you that right now. Like once you so there's kind of like two registration points. Let me address that right now. There's kind of like two registration things when you sign into Calvinball. There's kind of like two places that you end up being part of. I'm just gonna switch back to my face here first. No, I'll stay on here for a second. So there's the main scraphappy.org website. You have
Mhm.
membership within that, but
Right.
you'll also see a link to take you to Circle, which
Okay.
is basically our community space. And this is where we're in right now. So all the spaces are listed down the side. You'll see little graphics for that. If you're not in as many spaces, you're not going to see as many spaces. Like I have a lot of spaces because I am running all the things. So I have all the spaces. But
Okay.
if you don't see as many, that's not a problem. It just means you're not in as many of the pieces that we have running.
Okay.
And within that, you'll have two. You'll have the gallery space and the chat space. At the
Okay.
top of the gallery space is where you'll find the pin post for our rules. So they're easy to access there. If you have ideas for what should be on the rule list, you'll put it in the comments on this post. And that's the first place I go to see what's been suggested, to see what I should add to the rule list. So I'm the
Okay.
only person that adds to that rule list, but
Okay.
everybody will have the chance to contribute ideas for it.
Okay.
And then from there, we have um, underneath that post, you're going to start seeing, and we're seeing it already. So you're going to
Cute.
see layouts being posted and, you know, some pictures. Maybe it's a practice to kind of get practice. Look at the avocados on that baby,
That's cute with your little
right?
icon, right?
A little scrappy baby, a scrapicado baby. So yes, we've already got some stuff being posted in here. And if
Okay.
you really look, this gallery, it has been the gallery since we started Calvin Ball. So you can actually scroll back and you can see stuff from other years and stuff too. So it's kind of fun. I left it like that on purpose. I considered starting new things, but I thought, wouldn't it be more fun to actually be able to go back and look at more things? I think
Yeah.
so. And because this gallery is not set up with thumbnails, I know a thumbnail gallery would be great. We can talk about that at some point, maybe on our next crop. We could have a little discussion about that. But it's set up in a way right now because you're making new posts. If you click on a person's name that has posted, you'll actually be able to go to their profile. So let's just use this one here as an
Okay.
example. And from here, you can see that person's posts and you can actually see
Oh,
all of their posts. So it's a little bit like a personal gallery if they're set up this way. When we do
okay.
our thumbnail galleries, which we use for load now because it's so nice to have all the thumbnails for going in to comment on people's stuff, then we don't actually have those as separate posts because they're images and it's handled differently within Circle. Ideally, it would be both. I would get both and we would have them in those little under your profiles, but it doesn't work that way. It's Let's just say it's like a little thing that I really wish they would change. I have put in my request for it, but this is a nice opportunity for us to go in and see it. So if you want to see like what have I posted before, you can actually go in and check your own profile and stuff too. Okay. So Yeah, everybody can read through the rules on your own time. There's publicity points, there's team building points. So these are the points for like being an encouraging and lovely person. So leaving comments on 10 Calvin ball layouts will give you a point. If you leave
Oh.
if you leave comments on 5 Calvinball blog, Instagram, or YouTube posts, like if you're going on to Instagram, you search the hashtag Calvinball 2025 and you go leave some comments, you get a point for 5 comments. You've had to leave the site, you've had to go search for that stuff. So we give you a little, give you more points. Um, Early bird for signing up for the circle community, getting into Calvinball before March 1st, you get 2 points, which you can only claim once. Attending a crop, you're here right now, that's a point. Show us your layout or project on the live video crop, you get a point for that. So we will open up the floor here in a while for anybody that is ready to show us their projects, because some of you are much more earlier birds than I am. Let's just say that.
That's great. Okay,
And
so am I clear? This is the thread where you post a picture of your project.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
all you'll do is go and start a new post. Now, the great thing about Circle is they also have an app, and I'll show you a little bit of stuff on the app from my phone here in just a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that
Here's my
makes it
phone.
really easy for loading your photos up. I love the app for loading photos, and like when I'm looking through a bunch of stuff, I find that the computer's good, so I'm back and forth a lot. But
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
awesome.
fun.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
I'll
Good.
give you a
Okay.
little
That's pretty
walkthrough.
easy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I remember Circle now. Like I said, it's just been years. I started the Stampin' Up business and it just like took over my life. But I'm
Things have a
starting to
way of
settle
doing
back in.
that. Awesome. Okay, well, I'll let you pop yourself back on mute and we'll
Okay.
finish through some of the stuff and I'll be sure to show you the phone app and stuff too. Okay, so the team building points, complete a layout or 2 cards while participating in or watching the video replay of the crop. So if you're watching the video replay of this crop and you're like making stuff and you complete something while you're watching it, then there's points for that. Okay. And stackable points. Points are stackable. So this was the big discussion back in the day. It was a little dramatic. I'm looking to like my friend Merrick in here. Stackable points. It was a big discussion. So, for example, if you can get a point by using a star and you can get a point by using green, then if you use a green star, you can claim 2 points for that. So think of the rules like a checklist. Did I use it? Yes, check it off. So if you use 2 green stars, you still only get green and star to check it off. So I like to think of the list like a checklist. And yeah, it applies to every project. So, you make a new layout, you're starting again with a blank slate for that layout. So for that layout, you get 1 point for making the layout, and then you count up the rest of your points for it. Is the point counting a little complicated and crazy? Part of the fun. Part of the fun. That's all I'm gonna say is sometimes you embrace the fun. And I have a little warning in here. It says, watch out for stackable exemption days where you may not stack your points. And we call those days no double dipping days. So on a no double dipping day, the rules will be posted in our rule sheet here, and um, you will see some clarification. Basically, it's like on that day, you would have to add 2 green stars to your page in order to claim green and a star because each item that is on the page only counts once. So those are specialty days. There are other specialty days, and we have a new one for you this year. So I can't wait. She says with her wicked evil witch laugh. Um, it'll be fun. At the end of the Calvin Ball, we already talked about that, but you'll have a full 24 hours after it closes to submit your final points for the leaderboard. We should talk about prizes for Calvin Ball. We don't have prizes for Calvin Ball. Calvin Ball is like a prize all of its own. The amount of creativity and fun that you're having is your prize for Calvin Ball. So enjoy the process of Calvin Ball. Okay, so now we're at this part that is kind of like the biggie. Actually, I'm thinking that we should quickly I think I'll make those sections a little bit bigger for wording. So your permanent bonus points. So this is where all of your suggestions come into play for the bonus points. So we have two sections for these bonus points. They're additional rules. They're added throughout the duration of the challenge. So make sure you check back every day. There's something new for you to experience or play with. And the rules are applying to the day that you're creating. So each day you want to like tally up your points because you'll see why in a few minutes. um, and you claim a point once for each project, right? We've talked about that. It's like a checklist. So right now on our list for this permanent bonus list, we have a star. I like to start with that. It's very good. And then we have number 2 is include journaling of 100 plus words. So this is on our permanent bonus list. Um, these rules are not taken away all month. You get to have them all month long. I can't take them away from you. It's on the list. So every time you create something with a star and with journaling of 100 plus words, you'll take 2 points, right? For those. And then we have our temporary bonus points, and this is where things get fun. They're only available while they're listed, and sometimes they're removed. Um, and so it's like, it's the area that you kind of have to keep an eye on. It's like you plan to use green on all these pages because you can use green, and then tomorrow, oh, there's no green on the list, but there might be pink or there might be blue. Or there might not be a color listed, but our temporary bonus points are available until they're not, and when they're gone, they're gone. So on this list, we have green and we have avocado. So if you use a green avocado, well, that's 2 points. So you're you're rolling. Uh, if you use a green avocado holding a star and talk about why on earth am I putting an avocado on my page with 100 words or more, then you got 4 points. So it's all good. And as you'll see here in the comments, there are lots of suggestions happening. Sue is in here saying typewriter font, paint splatters, torn paper, bows and ribbons, tags, use a sketch, dates. Lisa says, using rub-ons, I have a ton and I never use them. Metal, acrylic brads, eyelets, wire stitching. Angela says, the perfect color to start for me because today family support for their missing son is having his 1 year vigil. Oh my gosh, that's heartbreaking. Um, but his favorite color is green, so she's textured paste, gesso, watercolors. So you can see lots of suggestions. They're not all going to make the list, especially on the first day, but trust me, as the days go by, I look back and it's not just what's the newest. I look back through the whole list and see what have we not included yet. So that is where you're going to stick your suggestions. However, we are on a live crop right now. So in the chat box, I will take your suggestions right now and we are going to add some things to the list. Let's go. Yeah. Rules are opportunities. That's right. That's how I like to look at it. Make stuff, get points, right? Donna says she's checking this out. It feels a little bit chaotic, but then you look, you make a layout. Maybe this time you have green paper. Maybe you pick a paper that has some green. Maybe you use stars as embellishments. The points add up. Um, yeah. Uh, oh, better get started on my layout, says Tina. Yeah, and Merrick says you get points for every 10 comments. So If you comment 50 comments, there's 5 points. Comment a lot, get points. Encourage your friends. Right now the rules are simple. It gets exciting, right? Okay, what have we got? Um, oh, here, I'm gonna switch back here. And that'll make it a little easier for me. Okay, first one I'm seeing here is Lynn with music notes. Let's give her music notes on the temporary list. Music notes. Uh, let's see, the first one to give a suggestion. Um, yeah, typewriter font. That was Sue saying typewriter font. Okay, let's put that on our permanent list. Typewriter font. And uh, let's see, we've got Rachel says labels. Okay, so let's put that on our permanent list. You know, what's going to be fun to play with and really helpful for stacking up those points all month, right?
And everybody's going to be, what's a label? What's a label to you?
Right. Uh, okay, I have a submission right now. It says, Calvinball is kind of like the life of my husband. For example, this morning he made himself 2 pieces of beautiful French toast. The bread he used was called everything bread. Everything bread. He didn't know that everything meant it included garlic and onions in the bread. Yuck. He ate it, but he was extremely surprised at how he was doing so well up until he received the end results. He said it was like eating garlic pasta, but with syrup poured on top. I guess that is pretty unpredictable. The funny thing is, we had regular 12 grain bread here as well. He was using the end pieces. How good of him. There we go. Sorry. That was his little interlude here. Okay, let's see. Let's see. My cohort here in ScrapHappy is in here, Allison, and she's suggesting flamingos. So I'm gonna give her some flamingos. You know, you keep her close, right? She helps out with all the stuff and make sure that the checklists get done on this side. So she gets to have her flamingos. We'll put them on the temporary list. Amy says that's something my husband would do. Everything bread. I did not buy that, so I that was not me. I take zero blame in that whole situation. Uh, yep. Merrick's flamingos and avocados. She's shaking her head. Like, how am I supposed to use these ridiculous things, people? Okay, let's see. We've got Merrick has a page to share, so let's bring her up and let's have a share, and maybe we'll do some of those for a little bit. So we're gonna put her on spotlight. Oh, you're still on mute. There you
Unmute, just a sec. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. So I just finished this one.
Nice. Oh, I see some green. Do you want to
So
give us the
you'll-
points tally so that it helps people that are new here
Sure.
kind of see how it goes?
So I have green. I have stars.
Mhm.
I think that's all for now, except that it's a layout. So I get a point for a layout.
Great.
Sometimes we have points for, there are other things that I would hope that we might get points for, but we're not there yet. So
Labels.
oh, labels. Yeah, I have a label. Sure. Okay. But yeah, fun stuff. And I just got a point for sharing it.
That's right. And point for sharing it. That's right. Awesome. So here we go. So if anyone else is ready to share something, go ahead and throw your mic on and just say, hey, so-and-so, and you've got a page to share. We'll just open that up right now for you. So Linda says, I love having the crop on the first day. It gives us more point opportunities right away, right? And we get to see all of your suggestions in person. Let's see. Oh, Deborah is in here and she's requesting selfies. I'm a selfie girl, Deborah, so I got your back. Let's put that on the permanent list this month. Selfie. Love it. And let's see. Shannon's in here requesting white pen. So let's put that on our temporary list, white pen. That sounds pretty good, right? We're going to be getting all this stuff done. Mary's holding up her pen. She's like, I got one of those. I got one of those. Okay, let's see here. I had something I wanted to show you guys. Dawn, I'm gonna show your thing if that's not cool, then let me know. But I thought it was awesome.
No, go for it. So do you want to know more of that story? It was hilarious.
Yes.
So Trisha knows how much I love my best friend Trisha has played Calvinball with me a little bit. She lives in India. And so I just play and I get a lot of points because I'm a junk journaler. I'm just fat, you guys know me. So I always struggle with whether I should put my points in or not. She goes, well, just go ahead and do this one thing and I will give you a trophy. And I'm like, okay. And so a year later, she has gone to India and gone to all the little people. It's like, do you have a trophy with a star? Do you have a green trophy? Do you have a trophy with scissors? Do you have this? And they're looking at this white American gal asking these Indian vendors these things. So she ends up buying like 3 or 4 different trophies and taking them apart and putting it together. And she's like, I saw this really big one, but my husband said no. And so she comes and she stays with me for a week. And it's like she talked about the trophy but I wasn't thinking about it. And she came and left for a day or so and she hid it up on my shelf and I didn't see it for a day or so. It's a huge trophy. How do I not see it? Right. I'm just in my own little world. So she is at the Cole family, and you look up about 6 months ago, she did the video of her making it and stuff. If you guys want to follow that, go ahead and do it. But it's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. So she made me a trophy.
You can see there's hearts, there's kitties, there's the star with like, what is it? Like a million billion point plus 3 points or something on there. You got a little Calvin and Hobbes down in the frames. You got the scissors. You've got some green on there. And the tag says to Dawn, Calvinball, all-time grand champion of the universe. That is a friend that understands your passion. So there we go. I thought that would be fun for us to take a look at and see. 1 quadrillion, trillion, billion, and 3 points. There you go. I'm glad she translated that because
I know, really.
That's a lot of zeros.
Right.
After a billion, it gets complicated.
Yes.
There we go.
She was hilarious.
That definitely understands the passion. Well, and I think that's part of the fun, right? That's part of the fun of Calvinball. There we go. Yep. Get to see the trophy. And it has a little Calvin and Hobbes on it. That was brilliant. So lots of fun.
It has the Calvin and Hobbes. She put my kitty cats with a heart. She did the star, the green arrows. It was all last year. It was hilarious. So funny.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you.
yeah, no problem. So fun. Right? Shannon says we all need a friend like that. And Amy's like, people who truly understand our love of paper crafting. Yep. So let's see. I'm looking through the list again because I think we haven't really added that many things yet. Shall we have a quick review? Quick review. We have typewriter font on the permanent list. Also on the permanent list, we have labels and selfie. On the temporary list, we have music notes, flamingos, and a white pen. And Amy popped in here and she's like, hexagons. Okay. Yeah, Sue says we need more. We need hexagons. Okay, so let's add hexagons to our temporary list. Hexagons.
I have a reason for that, Alice. I recently created a layout during load that I had lifted from another person who had done a page like this, where it has kind of this diamond pattern. But while I was cutting out this paper, I was using my Cricut machine to do it. I was like, well, I'm going to cut a whole 12 by 12 pattern paper. I might as well make other shapes too. So my Cricut, between the matte being not sticky and the blade being maybe a little dull, didn't like the triangles or the diamonds, so I didn't get a ton of those. But hexagons were a pretty easy one for them to cut out. So I have a huge stack of green. I specifically was like, well, if I do green, Calvinball is coming up. I know green will be a color, and blue colors of these hexagons. So let me tell you, I can make lots of pages with these shapes. And so I'll be looking for some inspiration. So if anybody else does hexagon designs, I will be looking for inspiration in the gallery for pages with these pattern papers, because yeah, it's a good way to use up that thinner pattern paper from like the 90s, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Love it. And Andrea is saying, can she share via chat? Yeah, of course. Oh, let's take this off. Do you want to unmute, or are you typing something, Andrea? I'll let you either put your audio on or whatever. It's in your court. Okay. So I've seen several suggestions for Disney. Lots of you have different ideas. That makes this also challenging. Okay, so there we go. Your screen is up, Andrea. Oh, it was up and it's down. But we had a quick peek. Yeah. Awesome. And let's see, we've got several suggestions here for a date. So I'm going to put date on the permanent list, right? We want to date a lot of our projects. So include a date that will be a point on the permanent list. There we go. Yeah, somebody suggested sewing. They don't really know how much I dislike sewing. It does usually make the list. It does usually make the list. Rachel loves sewing. There we go. Rachel loves sewing.
Can I ask a question, Alice?
Yeah, you bet.
Because I always ask, and then others will be wondering too, and there's never an answer, but something like date, we know we mean dates, like dated, but it's spelt the same. So like if literally somebody was in Arizona and they like had date milkshakes, that's a date, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just throwing that out there so it gets people like thinking. Now mine might be a stretch though. I do have a question, the selfie, because it's not spelt the same, but what if you print your pictures with your selfie? So you might want to make sure the spelling is right on that one.
I was thinking like you were gonna like say like if I went on a date and I scrapbook this date.
Oh, that would be good too.
Right? Somebody's like having some date squares, you know, like you got dates. Like uh, the words on the list tend to be pretty open. Merrick says we used to say bow, B-O-W, could be a bow on your page or a bow in your hair or the bow of a ship or an archery tournament.
I always figured it's good if there's some newbies to just like get the Calvinball rules or opportunities thing flowing.
Right. It made the list. Now, I will confess, once or twice, a rule has made the list twice. And if it's on there twice, then it just counts twice. And that was completely by accident. There was no intention behind that, but you have the opportunity, so seize the opportunity. I love it. Thank you for asking about that because it's great. Yeah. Sue says, I counted twice when that happened. It almost always happens and very unintentionally. I'm always like, oh, I'm sure we don't have this. I can't believe we don't have this. Because it's usually by the end of the month and there's like 70 things on each of the lists or something. So we added date, Merrick, yes, to the permanent list. And I will make sure that we have a review before we wrap up our crop today. But we've got time. We've got time on our hands. So when I first took this over and I had to try to figure out what those rules were, and I was trying to figure out like the whole no double dipping versus whatever you know, trying to use all the things. Like, I think that one came down to me saying, what would help me with my pages and what would be the easiest for me, right? And so looking at it like a checklist, did I use this? Did I use this? Did I use this? Became an easier way of approaching the pages. And for people that look at unusual things and think, how on earth would I use that on a page? I think that there are a lot of pages that might surprise you. Now, I thought it was in this album. I don't know if I have the right album here. I try to keep it handy. Well, that's not the one. I have too many that are the same color. Here we go. So some of my pages, this one has a very busy background, but it was a later in load kind of page, March 28th, in fact. And this one has a lot of stuff that I normally wouldn't put on a page, but it was a very fun page because it was me and my nephew playing with filters, social media filters. So you can see like we were having a very good time with that. And so this page, not only did I get to use this background paper that had a bunch of different animals that were part of the challenge, like sloths and cats and foxes and stuff, but you know, I snuck things into my into some of my clusters. Now this one was probably the most out there page that I have made during Calvinball, but a lot of them are like a much toned down version of this. So it really comes down into creating in the way that you want to create, maybe with a little extra something to it, right? So this one had wood grain letters. Well, that's easy to use. So then I used a wood grain. I've got clusters, right? Like there's different clusters. And in my clusters, I've included enamel dots and stickers and some kind of sparkle thing and some kind of there's a ladybug and maybe gold was on the list and hearts were on the list. So if you think about breaking down like the different things like that, it can really help Um, yeah. Merrick says some people use all the things, like Kathy's kitchen sink. Kathy is amazing at like using all the things. And she says, I've won the whole thing before, and I don't do stuff like that. That doesn't make sense to me on my page. If I can't figure out a llama, I don't add a llama. So, and I think that just knowing that those are different ways of approaching it really help to make sure that you can still scrapbook in your own style. This one for me was an out there page, but I have many other ones that I can't even identify as Calvinball pages until I look in a cluster and I'm like, oh man, that must be Calvinball. Because look at how many different things I kind of included in that cluster that normally I don't like make that grand effort. So and I think that that's just one of the great ways. You can do all the things, or you can just like pare it down, do what you do, but find ways that the list will challenge you to try something. Maybe you're just going to tuck it in. Like maybe you don't always have a label on your page, but now your pages all have a label because that really helps a lot. Samara says, I will add an avocado to every layout. Funny thing, I'm allergic to them, but I'll add a little avocado tag to the page. That's terrible that you're allergic to them, but it's funny how they just kind of like get into your life, right? Somehow the avocados just sneak right in. I love it. Yes, Merrick says, I will use exactly one avocado. There are times where avocados are the perfect thing to use, but yeah. Deborah says, put on all the things. It's so much more fun. And Dawn says, some people make pages with everything, and some people make a lot with fewer things, right? It's how you play the game. You can make all the pages. If you're making all the pages, that's amazing. So yeah, I like to think about that part of it, right? And think about how does it fit me, but also challenge me. And I think that's the great thing about it is it can be something different to every person, and you all play it a little bit differently. Okay. So Sue says, I haven't won, but I add things I normally wouldn't, but not odd stuff. But you're often at that, like close to that top of the list too. You're collecting a lot of points. Yeah. Yeah. Merrick says, I did buy avocado digipaper though last year. This is a good chance to shop your stash. Chances are you've got some kind of paper that you're like, what would I ever use this for? And it turns out Calvinball is that time. Or it can be. So lots of fun with that. I had something fun that is like personal to me, might be related to one of the rules we have, like just a little tiny bit right now. And I thought I would share it with you all today. So I have received this scrapbook magazine for many, many years. It's called Creative Scrapbooker Magazine. It is published quarterly and fabulous magazine with so much examples, not very much advertising. It's actually like a lot of just stuff. Like it's it's mostly articles and inspiration, and it doesn't have a lot of ads. Like it is a thick magazine too. So they publish it 4 times a year, and yeah, it's pretty fabulous. But in my opinion, this one is extra fabulous. The spring copy that's on the newsstands right now. Because oh, here we go. I'm featured in the magazine sharing tips about storytelling. Now, it's a 3-page spread here. So you got 3 pages. of inspiration with sharing 3 tips about journaling and telling your story on your pages. I've shared 3 different things, and it's actually going to be part of a series for this year in order to just give more inspiration, maybe more opening parts to connect with your story. And yeah, so if journaling has been a struggle, many times in magazines we see stuff to help us make beautiful, beautiful techniques, and we learn tricks for mixed media and stamping and design, and we learn all of this really cool stuff. We learn about playing with fonts, but I really think that getting your story told on your pages is such an important part of what many of us are trying to accomplish. Like not every person, but many of us are trying to accomplish. And so I was excited to offer this to the magazine this year. I am not an English teacher. I am a person that struggles with writing and writing good stories on my pages. And so I've had to learn a bunch of tricks, and now I wanted to share them with everyone. So this is going to be happening in all of the 2025 issues, and I am pretty excited about that. So that is just something that's really exciting for me that I wanted to share with you, because I find it to be such a helpful thing to have different, the tips that I'm sharing I found to be really helpful for me. So that is exciting. Plus, you may have noticed the 100+ word journaling challenge rule on the list, just to kind of get you started. Although I will tell you, one of these 3 tips in here is actually about really short journaling, so it wouldn't even, that one would not even make the 100 words. So there can be really great storytelling done really short, but yes, this was just a great challenge. So thank you so much. And yeah, I really hope that the tips that I'm sharing in there are going to make you like get all excited for trying a different approach to unlocking your stories for your pages. Okay, question, says Debbie. Can the journaling be hidden? Of course, still journaling. Doesn't mean you have to like have people see it. Maybe it would mess up your pretty design. I do hidden journaling on pages all the time. There was a recent page that we saw during load, and on this page, my journaling is fully hidden, and that's totally okay. So totally okay for that. Okay. So we've got more suggestions coming in. I think it's time for more suggestions. Oh, Deborah's here with all the ideas. She is, I would guess, actually, from previous years that you are the #1 suggestion giver, Deborah. I think that that might be true. Just looking at the comments, because you're consistent all through the whole challenge, because some people suggest a lot in the beginning, but not so much near the end. Deborah's pretty consistent. She's in there. She's got her suggestions. She says maybe. So let's give her one of them. She says die cuts. She says washi tape, faux stitching. What can we do here? Can I do a, oh, those are all polls or quizzes. Can't just do a quick little vote thing on here. They should fix that. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna switch to my spot so I can see everybody's face better. Remove my spotlight so I can see everybody's face. So here's the thing. She has die cut washi tape, and she said faux stitching, but I would just give you full on stitching. But we're gonna choose 1, 2, or 3. And if you have your camera on, I want you to hold it. So die cuts are #1, washi tape is #2, and faux stitching is #3. So die cut washi tape stitching, die cut washi tape stitching. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 1, 3, 1. Okay. It is number 2 was washi tape. Washi tape is the winner. Let's put that on our permanent list. Washi tape for the win. That was a very official count that I did with my little tally marks of messiness, but you know, it totally happened. So yeah, it was close actually, number 1 and number 2. And like y'all did not vote for stitching. So all of you that say that you love stitching, you know, you were in not a lot of company. There wasn't a lot of company there. So yeah. She says I can't scrap because I'm hurt, so she's looking for new ways to challenge us. Oh, I think I missed part of a conversation. Yeah, so there we have washi tape added to the permanent list. So as the month goes along, we will have our specialty days. In the past, we've had our no double dipping days, which are fairly fairly simple in the fact that every item kind of has to count as a separate element. So if you've used your background as pattern paper, you can't count it for also a color. If you've added a sticker, it's either a sticker or it's a green thing, right? If you have a star, it's either a star or it's whatever. Like they only count individually, which makes the scoring, I think, more challenging because you have to think more. It's not just a checklist at that point. So, so I think that that's a very fun day that we will have. It will be announced just slightly ahead of time, and shall be an email sent out about that. So about emails, you'll only receive emails when there's something special happening, like when a specialty rule is added. Calvinball Crops, you get emails for that. Other than that, I'm not too big on sending out a bunch of emails for stuff. So don't expect spam. But yeah, Merrick says that's how we used to do it. It was more challenging. So when I sought out my information, I talked to a couple people and I received different ideas on how the rules work. So I'm like, okay, this tells me I get to decide. And that was fun. It was a fun interpretation. And thankfully there wasn't too many people yelling at me saying, you're doing it all wrong, you're ruining it. Everybody was happy to create. They're like, thank you for taking this on. We were worried that it was going to disappear and we love it. No, it's been a great way to share a lot of love, and a lot of creativity is shared within the community. So yeah, it's all in good fun. Yes. So good. Oh, I do have a podcast. It's kind of on hiatus right now, but I'll go back to it when I find that life is in a different place. We've been traveling a lot now. Traveling is really fun, not conducive for doing podcasts. So um when I go back to the podcasts, like we'll see, but I have had episodes of the podcast about Calvin Ball. So I think Merrick, you came on there with me, right? And we talked about stuff. So there is an episode of the Scrap Happier podcast that is related to Calvin Ball. Uh, and if you're not like a podcast listener person that normally listens to podcasts, um, you can actually listen to it right on the site. So I'm just going to show you that really quickly here. And because all of the episodes that have been up are here. We actually just recently, like the most recent little series that we did was about different forms of digital scrapbooking. I talked to a couple different people involved in the industry and around digital scrapbooking. So we kind of talked about some different things about that. So that was good. But yeah, you can find all of the episodes here on the ScrapHappy website. So you just come up to the top, click the word podcast, and it will take you to every episode. And when you click into them, there is a player right there on the screen so that you can actually just play the episode right there. You don't have to like go and find it in a podcast player. They are there, of course, too, but some people aren't don't listen to them on their phones and stuff, so you can always just find it this way. I don't know what episode it was, Merrick. I don't know if you remember. I don't. I thought we'd scroll to it sooner, but maybe we did it sooner. Oh, I must have missed it. That's funny. Terrible, but I don't remember. Oh, here we go. Episode 31, the crazy, unpredictable, and exciting Calvinball Scrapbook Challenge. And you can just hit the play button right here and play it. And yeah, that'll work. So there you go. And we'll stop that share. So yeah, just something else to, you know, kind of keep you in the Calvinball mindset. And the rules tend to work the same since we've done this, so it should work out for you. What year did you take this on? That is a good question. I believe it was 2019. That might be wrong, actually, because we did the 2 years in, 2020, 2019, I think is the first year that I did this, 2019. And yeah, it was really fun. I actually found a creator online, and she had all these pictures with her and her husband dressed up like Calvin and Hobbes. It was so cute. And I reached out to her and asked if I could use them just like within our challenge to like showcase stuff. So as I announced different things, I had like little cover images that was of these two people, with one dressed up like Hobbes, and I think she was dressed up like Calvin and he was dressed up like Hobbes to fit the costume and stuff. And they just had the cutest little photo shoot, and she let me use the stuff. It was like a little odd because like I'm reaching out to this person online and being like, hey, I really love this and I do this really weird challenge and it's totally free. I'd really love to just like use them for your stuff. And she was so fun with that. So yeah. Oh, yeah. I think 2019 was the first year. I was just looking on that Calvinball page where you can get the link to go and sign up. Um, there's a little bit of history stuff on there, and yeah, that was the first one, I believe. So, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while, and yeah, I love the excitement of it. Okay, one thing that we haven't really talked about is the points and leaderboard. So we're gonna go and take a look at that, and then we're gonna go back and look at the phone app because I did promise that we would check out that too. So let's get to the right place here. Okay. Okay, so here we have the circle space. Right now, the thing that's coming up, it depends on your thing, but you can go to and this will probably get changed actually, whichever one comes up first. The gallery is here for the Calvinball. That's where you find your rules, and the chat space is where you find your leaderboard and points. So you have a point submission form, and then you can view the leaderboard after. And When you go to add it, you'll have your login kind of stuff. You can fix your name to be displayed however you want it to be displayed. So, and then you add your points. So, I'm just gonna add 0 because I haven't actually made it. I'm here on the crop. I'm gonna add 1. I'm here for the live crop. I'm gonna submit my points, but then you can see the points listed here on this. So, and once you add it, like here you can see, here's my name, but it says 0. I tested it yesterday. And then once you refresh it, it can take a minute for the stuff to all get populated in there, but my points should show up here. Here's Alice with 1 point now. So they will show up. It just takes a little bit, but we tested it as much as possible to make sure that it was all working. So that was my little bit of a panic. It was giving him a hard time yesterday. I'm like, Joe, make sure it works. Yeah, so we'll have to go. Oh yeah, it opened in a new window here. But yeah, and then to view the leaderboard, you can just go straight to the leaderboard if you want to as well, rather than going to where you point the forms. But once you put your forms, like put your points into the form, then it will take you. Now, it's really important that you're adding your points to it. So it'll do the math. But you have to double check. Now, what I really, really, really recommend is that you have your own little book list, piece of paper where you track your points and keep track on your own. When we have had a couple issues with technology, it's always devastating when it happens, but it can happen. So please do keep track of your points just so that you can confirm that your points are right. So if you make your page and your page is worth 20 points, you'll just put 20 in there and it will add it to your score for you. It does allow half points, so those should work. And it's all based on your honor system. That's this whole Calvinball thing. That's how it works. We appreciate your honest and enthusiastic participation. Good phrase, right? But you'll have to post them for yourself. If you make a mistake, you can remove them as well. Like say you're trying to type in 10 points and you accidentally type in 1,000 points, you can go and like put a minus in front of those points and take them back out. Just use the form again and put a minus in there. It totally works. And yeah, so I don't know if it's the most seamless point submission thing, but it works, so I'll take it. It works, so I'll take it. So, here we go. So that's there we go. Just moving my screens around a little bit now. Yeah. And Merrick says kits are great. Oh yeah. So we usually encourage that you only count your points for things that you did during the challenge. So if you have a partially finished project from some earlier class or something, we don't usually count the parts that were existing, but the parts that we finish generally, yeah. But I'll confess, I've had pages that I finished and it's like, look at this page that I got done. So, you know, it depends on how good you are. I don't do a lot of scrapbooking, so every page I finish, I think I've taken a full points. But yeah, that's the idea. It's what you create that day. So, you know, there's just my little bendy bit for unfinished projects, right? We often have a rule for unfinished. Merrick says, I have counted a pre-existing project. I just only count the points for what I added. Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, there's a lot of sticky questions you can kind of get into when it comes to rules, but I think like, what's the best intent? Like, what kind of feels the best? Then that probably works for us, right? What is the best intent? Are you making your pages? Are you getting stuff done? Are you feeling productive? It's all good. Yeah. You know, if you just sat there and made all unfinished projects, that'd be kind of, that should be my new challenge for Calvinball. Complete all your empty pages from every class and every page that you like got excited to make and then you abandoned it. Point for finishing a project. Let's put that on the list right now. Point for finishing project. Finish an incomplete project. Now, is that the right wording? Is that gonna tell us that like not just like I started a page today, finish a previously incomplete project? Is that better? I will take your suggestions. Shannon's like 2 points for projects you're avoiding. Sometimes you need 10 points for that at least, right? Oh, something finish an incomplete project from pre-March. There we go. We'll put it on the list. That's perfect. Perfect. There. It'll get us that 1 extra point. Oh, there's the question. Temporary or permanent? Let's make it permanent. We want that all month long. We want to complete those incomplete projects. We want to complete those incomplete projects. Okay. I think we want your we want to see like what are your like really out there things that you're like they really only apply to like you and maybe one other person in the universe and you're like, oh my gosh, this would just make my month if I could claim points for insert random thing, like, you know, something weird like an avocado or a llama or a hedgehog or what other things have we seen? Flamingos have been actually on the weird things to add to the list category before. Okay, I'm just loving this. I'm going to read this out loud. Viewfinder slides. Pictures of quadruplets. That would be highly specific. Dolphins, state symbols, maps, farm animals, dinosaurs. See, this is fun. This is fun. Okay. A penguin. Shannon says, I am a mom of quads. Are there any products that are out there for that? Like, I am guessing no. I'm guessing that that is not something that exists out in the world for you to find. Monkey helicopter stitching, says Dawn. Oh, oh. uh, let's see here. What did we laugh at the most? Well, I laughed at the quadruplets one of the most. I think that might be a little that is definitely specific for Shannon. That is Shannon specific. Motorcycle metal embellishments. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so let's add the dolphins because that was the first one that came up that I just like I was like other than the thing. So we'll add dolphins or a dolphin. I'll just write dolphin. You don't have to do like multiple. um and then oh, do we need that? Debbie has pickle on there. Is that even a thing? Can we find stuff about pickles? Shannon says quadruplet dolphins. A sloth. Oh, let's put a sloth on there. Okay, dolphin and a sloth we've added to our temporary list. And at first, when I saw dolphins, I thought, or like when I saw the sloth thing come in, I'm like, what would we use that for? Turns out I have all the uses for sloths. And then I went to go and pet a sloth, and then I had all the uses for sloths. So it was great. Lydia says yes to pickles. What are you guys? Oh, pickleball or food. Ah, that would explain the pickle a little bit more. But I'm like, where are you finding these pickles? I don't know that I have seen scrapbook supplies with pickles on them. But like, that should be a thing. Pickles are amazing. Tina says chicken. You're just sucking up. You know I'm the crazy chicken lady. Yeah. Treasure chest and castles and bird. There's some big deal that came in. Fortnite, my students are obsessed with right now. Ah, big deal. I have seen that for cards, actually. I guarantee there's pickle stamps out there. That's hilarious. So I think that's going to be our laugh of the day. So we're putting pickle on the temporary list. Have your fun. Have your fun. I almost want to put that on the permanent list to see what we could do with it all month. like there's this part of me, and pickles are green. There's this part of me that says that seems like the kind of thing. It's a big deal. Okay, so funny. Oh, astronauts, turtles. Oh, see, I would have liked turtles more than dolphins. Obsessed. Like, there we go. Sharon has her hand raised. Sharon, come on up. Tell us what you want. Or are you showing us stuff? Perfect.
I have a question too.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been making when you make 25 of one thing, you only get to count it once, right?
Well, okay, so like you're making cards, like 25 cards?
Yeah, I wish. These are, oh, I've got them all oh, I tied all the bows. They're 3 pockets glued together, and then I put things in the pockets and I tied the bows. Now,
Okay.
I had the papers all cut out before today, and I had these punched out before today. So I guess it'll be a pre-project. But still, just because it's 25 of them.
I think you count each one. Like it makes me think like art journal / like little art project or something like that. Like I would say you count each one. And it looks like you really, really need the word ribbon on the
I
list.
asked for that, you know.
Let's put ribbon on the list. We'll put it on the permanent list.
Yeah, and they
There
all
might
look
be other
different.
people
They're
that
not
like
all
that.
identical. Like they have different paper and everything.
Right.
So if
Even with cards
I
each.
take a picture of all 25 and I say, so they all have green on them and they all have ribbon on them and they all were started. I cut the papers before today,
Mhm.
but I've been doing putting them together today. I mean, yeah. So how would I count it? I don't know. But I love them. And they got Bible verses in them in the pockets.
Nice.
And there are 25.
That's a lot of work. Oh my gosh. Um, I look at them kind of like a card. Like I think they look like card-ish sizes. So I would say like each one is worth a point that you're finishing now. And um,
Yeah, I've finished them right now. But like I said, the the little holiness, faith, all those were punched and stamped before
right.
today.
So ready for
I
a
put them together. I put them together right now.
Right. And like you can count like your green color for some of them and now like some ribbon because that's happening today, right? So it's on the list. So
Yeah.
um yeah, I'm thinking like they count like point for card, point for green if they have green, point for
They
ribbon.
all have green. Yeah.
Merrick, what do you think? She's like usually my go-to for point counting. It's like how does it work?
Like if it's ribbon and green, and pre-done, you know, cut them out
Some,
before.
some people have more practice counting points than I do. Let's just say
So
that.
that would be like, could be potentially 75 points for 25. Okay. Pre-done,
Fast
pre-cut.
count those. They
I
get
started
half a
with
point for the
ribbons first.
base, like ATC or a card. And
Ribbon.
then, yeah. Ribbon I put on permanent list. And full
What?
points for the items on them. Yeah. So full points for the items. She's counting the cards more like a half a point for the base. You know, if you mostly got the
Oh,
bases
okay, half a
prepped
point. If they get a half a point for the
Yeah.
base, like an ATC or card.
like those are the artist trading card sizes. Like those are kind of listed for half point on the list. So
So they would be a half point each for the
but then
thing.
again, like they have like the layers, right? Like you've got the layers with the little cards to slip in them. So
Three of
with
these.
pockets.
I glued them together today. I scored them and glued them together today.
Yeah.
Tied the bows.
So if you've scored them and
I
glued
put it
them
together.
today, like that's practically a today thing. You just didn't cut them today. So
Right. I didn't cut them or punch them or cut the ribbon was cut.
yeah.
So maybe I
Susie
don't count the
went
ribbon.
green ribbon finishing during the crop.
Yeah.
Finishing during the crop.
And she's showing them on this, so she gets a point for that too.
Right.
Okay. Somebody do the math for me.
That is one of the things that you end up having to do for yourself during Calvinball.
I was kind of using
Part of the
so
challenge
some
is
says full, okay, yeah, half point for base. Full
I think
point.
trust yourself. Give
What?
yourself credit where credit is due.
right.
Trust yourself. There's no car at the end of this.
No.
So I say you put work
I
in,
know.
you count points. Like,
Yeah.
woo.
That's how the
Okay.
thing works. And like just because the paper was cut, it doesn't look like the rest of it wasn't done. If you're scoring it and gluing it and doing all of that right now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All good.
I'll go with the half.
Okay, we've totally figured this out. We're so good at this.
I mean, how many of us are
Thank
using
you.
scraps
Thank
of
you.
paper from projects we worked on other days? So like pre-cutting something shouldn't preclude you from counting it for something. I mean, count it all. You did all that work.
Right.
Okay.
That's-
Okay. Okay.
Mara
I'll
says
count it
there's
all.
no scrapbook police, and I am definitely not coming for you.
Well, I'm so glad we've got Calvinball in March because in April I have surgery.
Oh gosh. You got to get it all done right now.
Yeah, I'm going to have shoulder replacement surgery. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, thank
Well,
you.
We're wishing
everybody.
best luck for you for all of that. Healthy recovery.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll let you put yourself on mute. Yeah, super fun. But like that's the things that we come up to when we're playing with different stuff. It's like what counts for this and what counts for that. I think it's all good. Right? Use your judgment, make a call, and play in good faith. We aren't the points police. So fun. So, yes. So the other thing that kind of comes up once in a while in questions as far as Calvinball comes to digital projects and how they count. And basically they count just like all other projects. So if you're working digitally and you're making scrapbook pages digitally, it counts the same way. You count your stuff. So have you used typewriter font? Have you used labels, a selfie, a date, washi tape? Finish an incomplete project from pre-March, added ribbon. Those are all things on the permanent list, by the way. Those, that's all going to add up the same. So the trick becomes when we get stuff that doesn't translate exactly. So stamping, there is kind of like versions of what you can do for stamping in digital as well. I don't know that stenciling is quite the same. Is there anyone digital that would like to kind of share how you've interpreted a few different things in the past for us? I was just looking. Sue, do you have any Sue says I skip stenciling. Like she just doesn't use it. But like I think most things have a version. Okay, so Jackie has her hand up. Let me see. Oh, I've lost my participant list. Oh, I just didn't. I lost it on my desktop apparently. Go ahead, Jackie. Do you want to turn your audio on?
Yeah, turn my audio on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I just finished a card. I tend to start off Calvinball by doing cards with scraps left over from load.
Perfect.
So I just finished a card. And it has hexagons. And I can't believe that I had just pulled out my die to cut these hexagons when she said hexagons.
Perfect. It's like she read your mind. That's great. So perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. I will let you put yourself back on to mute. Thank you for sharing. Don't forget there's points for that. Or a point for that. Yeah, Merrick says, I'm not digi, but people use templates when there's a point for sketches, or if you're using a standalone element, consider it either as a sticker or a die, but not both, obviously. Yeah, like I think that it's mostly the same for digi stuff um as for everything else. And yeah, so it's all really fun just to kind of see the different styles. And I think because we've tried to make this as inclusive to creativity as possible, it makes it really fun. Yeah, Sue says, yeah, it's not hard to make the shift in thought and be like, oh, they've said this, I can do this. And in some ways, you have an advantage. If you happen to have that avocado, you can use that same avocado over and over and over again, right? There's no shortage of avocados when you have digital options. And Mary says we've always had digital scrappers in Calvinball, right? It's a way to make it work. So question, is there anything that is like so only digital that if it was added to the list that paper scrapbookers would struggle? Like I think of things like blending your photo into your background. Definitely hard to do as a that's one of the reasons I keep wanting to play more with digital. Dabbled really badly, but I've dabbled. But yeah, I'm sure that that works for someone. So let's just review our temporary list that we've added so far here today. So at the end of this crop, I will immediately go and add them to the points list. And we have added to the temporary list music note, flamingo, white pen, hexagons, dolphin, sloth, and pickle. Merrick says she finished a second page. You guys are so fast. Not something that translates well for me. So I mentioned that that March the 17th on St. Patrick's Day is our next Calvinball Crop. That one is 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern time. But next weekend, I will be doing Scrapbook Live. And yes, I will read the permanent one in here just a second. So next weekend on the 8th, I will be doing Scrapbook Live. It'll be at the same time as this one. So 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern time. And that is a kind of different format than this. I'll be scrapbooking live on camera with Allison. And when we are doing that, we'll be using kits from the scrap room. We also do a draw for a free kit from the scrap room. They have been so kind to continue to sponsor these free kits for us every single month. So it's excellent. And So we scrapbook there. We also do have some show and tell. Now, it's not a Calvinball crop, but it is a chance to come and share some of what you're doing. The word Calvinball might crop up in what we're doing at some point because it'll be the 8th and I'll be playing Calvinball as I do my page, right? So it will be extra fun for that. So Scrapbook Live is on the 8th. And to get signed up for that, you just have to be on my main newsletter list. And so I believe I have a thing here. Yes. So scraphappy.org/subscribe is my main newsletter list. If you're not on that, you'll receive emails like our Friday 5, our Scrappy Sunshine emails. And if you receive those, then you're probably already signed up. If not, go and sign up. Even if you're not sure, you can sign up again and it'll just like make sure that you're on the list. So that is there for that. And that way we you will get the emails for that. We don't email too much. Like usually on Fridays, we have an email that usually goes out on Fridays, and then the ones for special events like Scrapbook Live. And that's free for anybody to join us for. And then we have yeah. Oh, we've got another share. Andrea's sharing her page. Ooh, look at that. Bows on the cars and everything. Back and back to space. We had to push it. Went car shopping. Well, that looks awesome. So you don't have your audio on, so I can't hear you, Andrea, but we can see your page. I don't see green on it. That's the only thing. Not a green page. See, you can scrap it. Oh, there is green on that card. Ah, good, good. Sneaking it in there. Little star down on the corner. Don't forget with the, yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll let the stop share, I think the start is on the bottom and the stop is at the top or something. Thank you. So yeah, Monday the 17th. Okay, so we wanted to review the list. So the permanent list that we've added today is typewriter font, labels, selfie, date, washi tape, finish an incomplete project from pre-March, and ribbon. That's a lot. You guys have like twisted my little rubber arm and we've put so many things on there. So many things. So if you want a little more Calvinball related fun, hold on, gotta move this out of the way here. I will send you over to, here, let me have a look. So here we have our blog from the scraphappy.org website. So if you click on the word blog from the menu, then you will come here and you can see all the different blog posts that we have from our creative team. They have been doing an amazing job of sharing all the kinds of stuff. And there is even some information about Calvinball in here. And yeah, so I encourage you to check out the ScrapHappy blog with our creative team because they have been doing such a great job with that. So just wanted to give you a quick little shout out to the team. Thank you so much. And we've got, I think Roz has her hand up. So Roz, did you want to come on the screen here?
Yeah, I just have something to to show you.
Okay.
I was very happy that hexagons got added to the list. I'm just because I'm not scrapbooking right now, but I am binding a quilt
Full of hexagons.
full of hexagons. So I'm like, yes. And I did the
Awesome.
stitching because I'm stitching. But anyway,
That
but
would make it
Hmm?
that would make it easier for our quilters and everybody if we did have stitching on them.
Yes, wouldn't it though? But I will be scrapbooking later, but I had to get this finished first. So anyway, that's all I had to show.
That looks beautiful.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Jackie says, is clean your desk on the list? Some of us still need to do that post-load. It should be. Lindsay, you want to come up?
I'm probably not gonna quite finish, so I might have to not count completed layout, but at least I can get the share in. So backstory, 2 years ago with Calvinball, I took pictures of me eating avocado toast. But by the time I went to scrapbook it, the avocado had gone away. And then last year was crazy and I never got around to scrapping them. So when I came downstairs today, I was like, I am scrapping that because I have had paper from Damask Love with some like stuff and these pictures for 2 years.
You have great photos. I love your selfie game is strong, girl.
So there we go. I'm going to finally get these done and get points for it.
Yes, awesome.
And I made the journaling card. I was not normally going to journal so much, but I put the recipe card on because I'm like, well, now I have to make my journaling 100 words or more.
I promise I won't count, like, just roughly 100 words.
And I'm going to try. It's from the same collection, and it's probably really kooky and weird, but it's Calvinball. There is a little puffy flamingo and sloth in this set. So I'm going to try to have them peeking out somewhere.
That's awesome. It's just like the little things that you sneak in. Like I would say that my clusters game is really good during Calvinball. That is my best time for doing embellishment clusters. And Sue is giving you props on way to plan. Tina says that's tough doing 100 words, and I do mainly journaling on each layout. 100 isn't so much. 100 can be hard to fit on layouts because a lot of times we focus so much on the pretty design that we don't leave enough space to tell a story. So yeah, I think that might be the challenge of the month. Dawn says 100 words is good for the journal girls, right? Yeah, there's definitely different things that fit better with different areas, whether you are bigger into like the mixed media. There's going to be some things that hit the list and you're like, yes, this is the best thing ever. And if you're doing art journals, some of those things might work. And if you're doing the like traditional scrapbooking, you're gonna like some stuff more, and if you're doing digital scrapbooking, you're gonna be like, this is the best thing ever. So it really depends on what you're working on as to which rules kind of hit the best. Don says that's why I junk journal, it captures it all. Yeah, I saw the request for like lace and stuff like that, and I was like, I know who that is. I didn't even have to read the name because I saw the request first. Yeah. That's so fun. Oh, clean the desk. And Merrick says, hey, no talking about my desk. That's not open for discussion. I will say that even though I didn't finish all the layouts during this load, which is, a little heartbreaking, but I made some nice pages. I'm happy with those. yeah, my desk still looks like I did a full load. Still looks like it. Sharon says, my kids have me on Get Real, and I have a selfie of me watching your Zoom today. There you go. Love it. Lots of fun stuff. Okay, is Allison still in the house here? I know she was with us before. Oh yes, it looks like she's still here. Are you able to come up with me for a few minutes?
Sure.
Okay. Let's So everybody that is usually just hanging around with us for Calvinball might not know you yet. So this is my friend Allison Day, and she helps me with tons of the stuff with ScrapHappy now, and helps me to check off some checklists and make sure I get some things finished. And it has been a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I just thought I would give you the chance to come on. And Allison, have you participated in Calvinball? Have you dabbled in it? Have you full on committed? What has been your experience with Calvinball to this point? And what are you looking forward to with it this year?
I have dabbled with it in the past. I think I'm not one to put random things on pages if they don't belong there, so I don't get super high points, but I do love a challenge. So it's always fun to see what I can include and see how many things I can check off. I'm a big list checker, so that's always fun. What am I looking forward to? Just, the motivation to keep scrapbooking. That's one thing that I am finding challenging fitting into my life right now. So it's always good to have ongoing motivation and challenges. And from what I've seen in the chat so far, like this crop and also just on Circle, it's going to be a very active month. So
That's a good way to put it. A very active month. I like it because that would be highly accurate.
Yeah.
So
There's been some questions in the Circle chats about emails and things. So we will be looking at that right after we finish this crop and see what's going on, because there's definitely people that should be on the list that aren't getting emails. So
okay.
We'll check it all out, guys. So
Yeah, I know that you'd forwarded me one there yesterday, and when I looked, like it shows that she's getting the emails, like the system says that she is. So I'm like, I don't know what to do after that. Usually it's like, oh, you've got removed from a list or something, like something didn't pass through, and then our system said, oh, that happened too many times and it doesn't work anymore. But when it just is like a total fail, then it's like, then that gets tricky. So
yeah, but we'll figure it out.
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming up and saying hi to everybody. So if you see Allison sending you stuff or whatever, now you know who she is. Thank you today, by the way. Okay, I'll take you down so that you don't feel all the pressure. Sharon said I didn't get today's link in the email, but I got emails about other ones. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, it's possible that I messed that up. Like that's possible, but hopefully I get it right. Okay. So I wanted to show you this other page that I did during one of the Calvinballs for the people that think like, okay, this is a little too much. Let me airdrop it to my computer. Okay, now I can take this right there and I can pop it into here. Oh, okay. I have to move it around a little. Give me a second, guys. It's like just has to be resized a little. Okay, so here was a page that I did a couple years ago during Calvinball, and I like to show this one because I think it, for me, it is a good me style page. Like it still feels like me. And thanks, Sue. I hadn't seen that, so thank you. I'll have a look. Let's see what I messed up there. Linking. So fun. Okay, but this page that is here, it feels like me because it has a lot of elements. Like it's kind of busy, but not overly busy. I had a lot of fun putting the different pieces together, but it also is very much my style still. Like it doesn't go overboard in like the style department so that it doesn't feel like it's not a me page. So you can see like all of these pieces in the background are all stamped, or they're actually done with stencils. And then there's little acrylic pieces. The little stars are all acrylic pieces. I've got stars and hearts. I've got all these different colors. There's a little note tag in the background, which has my hidden journaling behind my photo, but that paper has hedgehogs, and my nephew is actually holding a hedgehog. But then if you look at some of the pieces I've also added, like there's a doily underneath the embellishment cluster in the corner here. And there is a frame and a birdhouse and a little mushroom and some enamel dots and some puffy stickers and a butterfly and a wood veneer and a label. Like all of the little pieces put into that cluster are definitely things that were points for the challenge. But I think like the way that the page came together, you can even see the dates stamped on there, and all of those things kind of they they added to the embellishment cluster. So for me, that was like a little bit of a stretch to add some of the things, but because they kind of all fit in there, it still became a page that's mine. So if you're worried that seeing things like pickles and sloths and dolphins might be a little overwhelming on the list, and you're like, how do I do that? A, you don't have to. And next, you can like see like are there fun little ways to bring some of those into what you do. Yeah, the little hearts are a turnabout stamp, Jackie. They're a turnabout. Yeah, they were done with turnabout stamps. That's right. I did the whole background with them. It was just like a mini one, actually. It was kind of cool. Yeah, so typewriter fonts, like that can be easy if you include some of that label, selfie. So we try to have a little mixture of the things that feel familiar and the things that, might be a stretch, but add a lot of fun. Okay. That feels like almost everything. Does anybody have any final show and tells? We see Martha is bringing something up for us. Do you have your audio on too, Martha? We can see your desktop. I'll give you a second to see if you want to unmute, because you can screen share and talk at the same time.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't know how to switch this around. Let me see if I can switch it. Well, I was going to share. I'm wearing my Calvinball shirt.
Oh, okay.
I don't. Oh, here. Can you?
Here, then I think we want to stop the screen share, and you probably want to use your camera.
Okay,
So
stop share.
there you go. And then if you click on the little video button at the bottom, like
Video.
if you're
Video.
And we can add a spotlight. There we go. Ah, yay!
I don't know when I got this. It's been a couple years. I haven't done this for a while.
We're twinsies.
That's my share.
Yay, I love it. So, Joe was literally just working on the merch shop here the other day. Teespring became Spring, and then that changed some of the stuff, and so they've changed a few little things. But we do have a little bit of stuff in the merch shop. If those links aren't active, we are actually working on them. So I have Joe just working on that. So thank you so much for showing your shirt. That was really that was really fun. I thought you were sharing something on your desktop. I'm like, you don't have it open. Yes, yay for the Scrapavocado shirt. Yes, there's some mugs in there and some little notebooks, little line notebooks. I usually have one sitting right here on my desk, but I think I don't. or it's under an avalanche of stuff that I might need to move. But yeah, the little stickers. It's like, is the stuff overpriced? I have set the things to the pricing as low as I can, kind of that they let me pretty much in that shop, but they send it directly to you. It doesn't have to go through me. So you place the order, they make it, and they send it right to you. So that was the convenience of using a shop like that. When it's up, I'll have an email sent out to say, hey, if anybody wants some of this stuff from the little merch shop, that you can get it. Yeah. So Debbie has her hand up and Lynn has her hand up. So let's fit these in and then we'll go through the list and we'll wrap it up. So Debbie, let's bring you up. Oh, still on mute. There you go.
Yeah, I got it. Hi.
You're a little bit sideways on my screen.
I know, I've got to figure that out.
There you go.
There. Okay. I had started this yesterday, but since we can use ones that we were finishing up, I just am going to use that one for the one I'm not quite finished with. I'm printing pictures. It's going to be bread making, and I'm going to put some pickles with it because pickles and bread are good. And I've got, hold on one sec. Everything fell off when I picked it up. I've got my avocados that are going to go on there. I've got, oh, there he is. This is the one that's going to go on there. And it's going to be just pictures of bread making with all the things added. So that's going to be fun.
That's adorable.
It's awesome. It's so cute.
It's not my design. It's one that I was finishing up from a class.
Cool.
So
cool.
I like it. But it's going to be fun because I'm going to have bread, avocados, and pickles.
Perfect. All the stuff you need when you're making bread.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to bring Lynn up. Lynn, let's have you up here.
I didn't plan on this. But anyway, hi. I want to be working on cards a lot because I'm behind on cards. But this is a card for my daughter's fiance. He doesn't like birthdays, so it doesn't say birthday on it. But this is wrapping paper that he wrapped my Christmas present with a couple of years ago. And so it's, it had a Santa hat, so I just cut around it and put the birthday hat. And I'm going to look for a star sticker to go in the hat. And washi tape with the music notes.
Yay.
So inside I'll say happy unbirthday or something like that. So anyway, I thought it was cute, but I saved that paper hoping I would do Calvinball one day. So
and here you are. It's all coming to happen. It's awesome. And I will take your video off. Thank you so much for coming up. And Tina, here we go. One last one. We'll bring Tina up too. She was like, how do I raise my hand? I'm like, I'm not the person to help. I'm always on these.
So 8 points for this one.
Wow. See, you're off to a good start. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, well, you know what that means, you guys? It means that we have reached a wrap on this Calvinball challenge, and it not on this challenge, on this crop, I said, oh my gosh, can you imagine if it was already over? No, we're just kicking things off. So we have reached a wrap on Calvinball Crop number 1, but we are just getting started. So added to the list today, let's give you a quick rundown. You're going to see it updated right away. I'm going to go in there immediately and do that before I go down for lunch. And to our permanent list, we have added typewriter font, labels, selfie, date, washi tape, finish an incomplete project from pre-March, and ribbon. And just because I'm feeling really generous and I'm like feeling bad for the sewing people, let's give them some stitching. Stitching. We're going to say stitching. Stitching / sewing, it all means the same thing to me. Faux stitching is good too. So stitching added to the permanent list. That is a gift because, you know, I don't want to do it. So to our temporary list, we've added music notes, flamingo, white pen, hexagon, dolphin, sloth, and pickle, which is really funny. I'm still laughing over that one, and I will be all month. So thank you for that suggestion. More than one person suggested it. It was not until I saw the second person that suggested it that I'm like, okay, we're going for a pickle. That's awesome. So thank you for keeping this challenge so fun and so exciting. If you have friends that want to get into on it, it's open all month long, and it really doesn't matter if they join a little late because there's just more opportunities for collecting points as we go. So, you know, rope them in, bring them along for a little bit of fun, and this will be a great month. If you see issues within the Circle community, can you send me a direct message within Circle? Like, all you have to do is go up into the little messaging. I think it's like one of those little paper airplanes or something like that, and send it to Alice Bowl and let me know that there's a problem with something within there. That really helps a lot because they're easy for me to find and keep track of them all right in that one spot. We also do have a support. So like if the emails aren't working or you can't get into Circle, support at scraphappy.org is also monitored by Allison, who is excellent at helping me keep track of emails. So thank you for that. For sending them over to there. And I hope that you have just the best time this month. Feel free to join us next weekend for the Scrapbook live session. And then, of course, on the 17th, we'll have the next crop for that. So need to have 10 on the temporary viewfinder slide. So yeah, lots of fun. I love this challenge a lot. It's very light and playful. It is very energetic and it's great. So until next time, happy scrapping everybody. Have an awesome day. Bye.